reason why I wanted to show you this is the following. This is we can make giant versions of this, right? And if you have the electromagnet attracting something, it will pull it up. But if you turn it off, then it will start to fall. If you control it very carefully, you can suspend an object. So this is an example of a giant version of magnetic suspension with an electromagnet. So this is the electromagnet here. And they have a giant globe of the Earth and a globe of the Moon. Here's another electromagnet here. This is in Shijiazhuang, China. I was here. These are my children. We were visiting this location. And they had this giant Earth suspended. It was floating there, and the Moon was floating. This would travel around the Earth, and so you could see the path of the Moon around the Earth. And those were being suspended by electromagnets. Very similar to what you have there. Here's another item. This is in Shanghai, China. Here I am visiting this train. This is a train I traveled on. And this is a magnetic levitation train, a maglev train, where the track has giant electromagnets, and the train it wraps around the track. The track is like a T, and the train goes around, and there are electromagnets here on the track, and they attract the bottom of the train here and lift the train up off the track. They also provide propulsion for the train, and the train can go 400 kilometers per hour, which is over 250 miles per hour, just through magnetic levitation.
That's amazing.
Okay.
Like a monorail train is?
It's like a monorail train has wheels that are on the track. This has no wheels. Well, it has wheels when it stops, and you turn off the electromagnet. But this is actually floating off the track. It's floating in the air, and you're traveling along, but it's due to a magnetic levitation suspension. Right? And so it doesn't have any resistance. Like the monorail has the resistance of the wheels on the track. This has no wheels on a track. They have resistance, so it can travel as fast as you want to propel it, really. It's a really wild ride. It's very quiet, very easy, very smooth ride. So that's a giant version of it. Okay, I've saved the best for last. I know we're going to run over just a little bit, but I think you'll really appreciate the following. Okay. So this is the final version of levitation that I'd like to show you this evening. This following device is called a tube. And we are going to suspend some quark samples with power of sound. Okay, so this brings us full circle in a way, because in this case, it is, again, air that is going to be moving the particles, but it's due to what's called a standing wave. So I will show the first one first, and then I'll bring out the second one. The Kunst tube here we're going to use something called a frequency generator, and a speaker here. And if I turn this on, I will get some sound from the speaker. And if I get the frequency just right, I should be able to see a very interesting effect. Come on up over here. You should see this. You can see some levitation going on.
Is that sand in there?
It's cork dust.
Cork dust.
And if I change the frequency even just a little bit, you can see things change. So the trick is to get it to sort of at a maximum value, maximum level. And Shall I turn this off? Is everybody getting a headache from the sound now?
A little bit. But it looks really cool.
All right, so that is
So cool.
that is some sonic levitation in the tube. Okay, and let's see how this works. Okay, so what's happening here is we got a lot of motion here, and we got a lot of motion over here, and there are areas where we have what are called antinodes. So I have some samples of something for you to try here, and let's see where do I. Anyway. What I want to do is everybody should, or a pair of people, grab one of these. And we're going to need a battery as well. So there's some batteries, so grab a battery. And what you're going to do is you will okay, so I'd like you to unwind, and then you'll put your battery in, and the device will spin, and you're going to hold it from the top. And the key here is you want to have it so you'll have areas where there's a lot of motion, and areas where there's very little motion. The locations where there's a lot of motion, and if you can't find it, just change the string length by a little bit. So there'll be areas where there's a lot of motion and areas where there's little motion. The little motion areas are called nodes, and the places where there's a lot of motion are called antinodes. Okay, so everybody can see like on the screen there, okay, you can see where there's the node, which is the place where there's not very much motion, and the antinode is the place where there's a lot of motion. So what's happening in the Kunst tube is the tube creates what's called a standing wave, and this is a standing wave, right? As long as it doesn't move around too much. Okay. There's a standing wave, and there'll be places where the air moves a lot, your antinode, and places where it doesn't move very much, your node. So the cork dust was moving at the antinode. Everybody saw that. Now, it would be very interesting if we could create a standing wave without the need of a glass tube, wouldn't it? Yeah, so we're going to try this here. So go ahead and you can take your thing out. So everybody's seen where the spring moves a lot. What we're going to attempt to do here is something relatively new, and that is to create regions where there is a lot of motion with the air. And what that will do is the air will push on an object to suspend an object. And this is called acoustic levitation. Go ahead and wheel this out of the way. Not that anymore. So what we have here is a device where these are speakers, just like the speaker on that Kunst tube there. These are each little speakers, and they're in a special arrangement. And these will produce ultrasonic frequencies, the sounds that we can't hear. laser is turned on. There we go. And I have little objects, small objects. That I shall place on a piece of paper here. And ideally, Leviosa.
It's spinning right in the middle of the open.
Add in a second one. Several students have gotten up to 8 of these things going. I add in one more. I'll try one more here. And if we turn off the lights, can you put the lights there? This will look very dramatic with certainly with the cell phones. So there we have levitation. This is called acoustic levitation. So if you look at the screen, you can see that there are areas where there's standing waves, and the standing waves cause much motion in the air, and that motion is suspending the particles just above. So that's providing the suspension force for the particles. What I found is if you take a movie and move your camera around the objects, that really demonstrates well that those objects are floating in mid-space, in midair. Movie so you can see how the other objects are moving there, are really there, really floating, and it's not a trick. True levitation. They're suspended there.
You say it's acoustic. Is it high, like a higher frequency?
It's a high frequency. It's ultrasonic. Okay. It's at 40,000 hertz. Human hearing stops at about 3,000. Well, 10,000 hertz. Depending on who you are, my hearing is shot at about 2,000. Except an interesting thing is these ultrasonic speakers interfere with my hearing aids, and so I can actually tell when this device is on because I can hear it.
What does it sound like?
It's a buzzing. It's really
Really?
annoying.
Cool.
Yeah,
It's
it's
gotta
buzzing. Well, it's an interference that's going
Yeah.
on. So I'm not hearing the speakers. I'm just hearing interference of the electronics going on.
Okay.
You can turn it off if it's annoying.
No, that's fine. It only really isn't effective and close in.
Closer to it.
Yeah, when I hear the buzzing, right? It won't kind of voltage buzz if I'm far away. Because what's happening is these speakers are arranged in such a way that it creates this really high intensity sound wave in the center there, but it quickly disperses as you move farther away.
So cool.
So I hope you have enjoyed today's lecture on the 9 methods of levitation. Right? We've looked at buoyancy, lighter than air. We've looked at static electric field levitation, static magnetic field levitation, magnetic fields with an angular momentum that we saw fly off, very difficult to get to work. The flux exclusion with the superconductor, and the paramagnetic with the paralytic carbon, the rotating electric field, and electromagnets, Lenz's laws, and finally Kunsttube and the standing waves in free space. So I hope you've enjoyed this, found it instructive
Yes.
and useful, and something you can take home and amaze your friends and confound your enemies with.
I don't know how many friends I can amaze because most of them are in this building.
No way. Yeah, wait, yeah.